So we saw some running backs break out here in Week 10, and now I'm going to tell you some running backs to go get on the waiver wire this week. The first guy is Wayne Gallman of the New York Giants, and Wayne Gallman, once again, he took over that backfield. Devonta Freeman, he went on IR this week with the hamstring and ankle, so he's out at least 3 games. And Gallman, he's still out there in 50% of fantasy leagues. And Gallman versus the Eagles, 18 carries, 53 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns from the goal line with 1 catch and 7 yards. It looks like Gallman's the man over there. The Giants, they're playing meaningful football in a bad division, and now Gallman, his 4th game in a row with double-digit fantasy points. He's going on by Week 11, like I said, but then he's got Cincinnati coming up and then Seattle. And Freeman, I think this guy's better than Freeman, honestly. So the Giants, they should roll with him. If Gallman's out there, you should go out there and get him. He's looked good. His fantasy days, 16, 13, 14, and 19 yesterday. His best game of them all in all PPR formats. So go out there and get Gallman. He's going to be the starter. Freeman's out now. Even if he comes back, Gallman, he's got a role in this offense, and he's going to play some major snaps and minutes. The next guy is Salvon Ahmed of the Miami Dolphins. He's a guy I said go stash before the weekend hit. And if he did good for you, Ahmed in his first start, 21 carries, 85 yards, and a rushing touchdown to start the game from the 1-yard line after the Dolphins blocked the punt, and it was an easy push-in for the rookie Ahmed, and he added a catch for 5 yards. Matt Breida, he was out again, but honestly, Breida, he's injury-prone. He's not really a running back who can handle 20, 25 carries, and Salvon Ahmed, he definitely did in this game. And Breida, even if he comes back next week, I don't think he's going to do much. And Myles Gaskin, he's out another 2 or 3 weeks. So Ahmed, he's out there in a whopping 94% of fantasy leagues. And this guy, he can help you win a couple games. The Dolphins like him. He looked like an every down back. He was in there, I would say, about 90% of the snaps. Jordan Howard, he's not going to be a factor. He was inactive. And last week, Ahmed led the backfield in rushes as well with 7 for 38. So Ahmed, he's definitely out there. Go out and get him. The third guy is Kellen Ballage of the Los Angeles Chargers. It was his backfield yesterday. We know Justin Jackson, he's not coming back anytime soon after he got hurt. But Ballage, he might only be a 1 more week guy to start. But he had a good game versus a tough Miami Dolphin defense. 18 rushes, 68 yards, 6 targets, and he added 5 catches for 34 yards. So Ballage, he outplayed Joshua Kelly big time in this game. He's got a great matchup coming up from the Jets. Even if he's a 1-week rental, this guy can help you win ball games. He's out there in 81% of fantasy leagues. So Ballage, I would go out there and get him. Even if he's got a week left, if Eckler's really coming back in week 12, like the reports say. So Ballage, he's the man there. Pope and Kelly, like I said, they didn't do much. So go get Ballage. The 4th running back here is Nyheim Hines. He broke out once again for the Indianapolis Colts on Thursday Night Football versus the Tennessee Titans with 12 carries. He even got 70 yards and a rushing touchdown, and he added 5 catches for 45 yards and a touchdown. He's out there in 59% of leagues. I know that Colt backfield's a total mess with Jonathan Taylor, who's not producing at all, and also Jordan Wilkins, who had 8 carries for about 20 yards in that game. Hines, we know he's set in as the 3rd down back. We know Rivers, he likes those little dump-offs to running backs, and now it was good to see Hines get carries in between the tackles. It looked like more of the hot hand approach the Colts were going with in this game, but I'd rather have Hines because of his catching ability and receiving prowess out of the backfield. So go get Hines. He's out there, like I said, in about 60% of fantasy leagues, so go get him. The next guy is La'Mical Pirine of the New York Jets. He was off this week, but now reports came out early at the end of last week that Pirine's going to get more work. It makes sense. We saw Swift become the starter in Detroit and AP take a backseat, and this is what's going to happen here, I believe, for the New York Jets. Frank Gore is going to take a backseat, and Pirine's going to be the man there. And he had a couple good games. In Week 7 was his best game. 11 carries, 40 yards, and a touchdown with 2 catches for 16 yards is Pirine. He's available in 83% of fantasy leagues. So this guy's a guy you could go out there and get right now before the games even start. before the Monday night game starts tonight. So get Perine. He's going to be a starter. And even for bench depth, it's a good guy to have on your roster. As long as there's starting running backs out there, they got to be owned unless you're in a real shallow league with 8 to 10 teams. But go get Perine. The next guy's Devontae Booker of the Las Vegas Raiders. And Booker, the last few weeks, he's starting to get going. I know yesterday's game was garbage time. He had 16 carries for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns with 1 grab for 2 yards. But the last few weeks, he's got more of a role. We saw him last week. In Week 9, he even had 8 carries for 68 yards and a close touchdown vulture from Josh Jacobs. Jacobs had a great game, though, with 12 carries, 112 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But Booker here, he's going to have a role, I think, in this offense. 8 touches last week. A few weeks ago, he also had 7 touches. So he's getting 7 to 10 carries. And obviously, if Josh Jacobs went down, Booker would be the man. So he's a good guy to stash in deeper leagues. But he's a guy we go out there and get, and no one's going to claim him. He's out there in 97% of leagues. And the last guy I'm looking at is Alex Collins of the Seattle Seahawks. Collins, he got the start. He got the majority of the snaps and the carries. He finished with 11 carries, 43 yards, and a touchdown, and added 1 catch for 4 yards. Collins, he's out there in 100% of fantasy leagues. But the thing is, Chris Carson, reports have come out, he's coming back Thursday, and Seattle could use him in a big way. They're 1-3 since Carson got hurt in that game in Arizona. They could use him. So hopefully Carson comes back for the next 3 fantasy games before the playoffs. But if you don't Alex Collins, he'll be the guy to go grab. So that's the running backs to go get on waivers heading into Week 11.